We spent a lot of the first hour talking about the issue that really has commanded the attention of everyone over the past 18 days. And there still is another issue that has commanded the attention of everyone over the past 3 months and 1 day. It was just 3 months ago yesterday that the world turned upside down regarding the coronavirus. There's increasing evidence of some hotspots that are growing, cases increasing in various parts of the country. The NFL on Sunday sent out its initial protocols to the teams regarding all the things that must be done in a facility, in a stadium, to keep people, including players, at least 6 feet apart everywhere, up to and including the locker room. Now it all changes when they go out onto the football field. That's a different issue altogether. John Harbaugh, the Ravens coach, was on 105.7 The Fan in Baltimore on Thursday, and he provided a fairly candid assessment of what he thinks of the league's initial protocols.
I've seen all the memos on that, and to be quite honest with you, it's impossible what they're asking us to do. Humanly impossible. So, we're going to do everything we can do. We're going to space. We're going to have masks. But, this is a communication sport. So we want to get out there and actually have any idea about what we're doing on the field. We've got to be able to communicate with each other in person. We have to practice, and I'm pretty sure the huddle's not going to be 6 feet spaced. So, come
right.
on. So, I don't know. Are guys going to shower one at a time all day? Are guys going to lift weights one at a time all day?
Right.
These are things the league and the PA needs to get a handle on and needs to get agreed with some common sense, so we can operate in the 13-hour day in training camps that they're giving us to get our work done. So that's the one thing you can tell by my voice.
Yeah.
I'm a little frustrated with what I'm hearing there.
Right.
And I think they need to get that pinned down.
Now, some would say that no one complains about the rules like John Harbaugh, but on this point, and on most points when he does complain, he's got a point. And there is a strange dichotomy with the extreme measures that are going to be taken in the facility, and that all goes out the window when it's time to go play football. I think the goal is to ensure that no one gets onto the field, into the huddle, into the fray who may be positive for the coronavirus, but it is going to create a major shift in the way football teams do business. And another thing Harbaugh said, Shireen, he's concerned that some teams won't follow the rules because it is going to be something that eats into efficiency and productivity. And if there are some teams out there that just cheat the rules, well, they're going to have an easier time getting to where they need to be come Sunday.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that go into this. And we've seen it just out in public, right? You see people not wearing the mask because it's too much trouble. And now it's getting hot and they don't want the mask on and everything that goes with it. So we're just seeing these things out in public. So, yes, I think it's going to happen on some football teams. Some guys aren't going to wear masks and do some other things. And then we're going to start getting those positive tests. And I've asked around and talked to a few people within the league who have been in on these talks of designing these rules, and it will be interesting how many times that guys are tested. I don't think it's going to be every day. I think they're looking at what other leagues are doing, and I think it's probably going to be in the more 2 to 3 times a week that players get tested for the coronavirus. So it's very possible that you could have a guy test negative for it, and then he comes back and he actually has it the next day or the day after and infects several more players on the teams. But I also wonder if some owners aren't going to go out and buy their own test, which could be highly possible. Robert Kraft or Jerry Jones just says, hey, I want my guys tested every day. I want to know when they walk in this building that they don't have the coronavirus, that they're not spreading it, because there are only certain things you can do to prevent it. They're going to be within 6 feet, especially in locker rooms, especially in visiting locker rooms, and out on the field. And I know Oakley's designing the face mask, the shields, and they're trying to do some other things. But let's be realistic about it. They're going to be within 6 feet of each other, and probably be within 6 feet of each other in the locker room and around that building.
See, to me, Shireen, I think it's a no-brainer that every player, everyone who goes into the facility must be tested on the way in and also tested on the way out. In the event that someone catches the virus in the facility, you don't want to be setting that person loose onto the community to spread it to their family and to whoever their family members interact with, and so on and so on. Some of these guys have kids who are in school, right? If school is in session in some of the states where, and look, the trend has moved sharply toward open everything up and we'll deal with the consequences later. If you've got schools open in the fall, as they apparently will be, and you've got kids who maybe catch the virus at home and take it to school, I mean, it's just going to contribute to the spread. So the NFL needs to be part of the solution, not part of the problem. And being part of the solution means constantly monitoring your guys when they get there and when they leave. And the testing, I've been led to believe all along, the testing will be at the point where it will be easy and it will be cheap to do a screening test for the virus and get a quick result by the time we get to September. So I don't think 2 or 3 times a week is nearly good enough. I think you've got to clamp it down and test these guys multiple times per day, or at least multiple times when they come to the facility. On the day off, you don't need to test them, but maybe it'd be a good idea to monitor them even then, because once it gets in, once it's in the building, once it's in the team, once it's on the field, there it goes. And for all the guys who are going to be of that mindset that I'm not worried about it, I've got bigger risks when I play football, and I'm young and I'm healthy. There are plenty of guys who play football who are morbidly obese. There are plenty of guys that have a BMI that is off the charts. There are plenty of guys who have diabetes. I don't know how plenty, but there may be guys who have diabetes and don't know it. It's a hell of a way to find out you got diabetes, because you get the coronavirus and COVID-19 kills you. You've got older coaches to worry about. Like so many other things, like we all took it seriously for a couple of months, and then we realized taking it seriously was inconvenient, and now we're back to like just kind of like, hey, well, let's see what happens. I don't know. I just think that there needs to be, if you're going to have people in close quarters, there needs to be testing every day, Shireen, every single day.
Yeah, we've seen these college teams come back and test their players, and they have positive tests. We had a high school here in Texas that had a player test positive here in recent days, and they had started conditioning drills, and they've shut those down now at that school to try to prevent the spread. Guys are going to get the coronavirus. At some point, you're going to have guys test positive. Can you keep that number down? And I have asked that question. What is an acceptable number? Is it 5 players? Is it 10 players? Is it 20 players on a team? To the point where that team can't field a team anymore, a competitive team anymore, and has to shut it down. And I don't know what that number is, and I'm not sure they know what that number is, but they have to be prepared that this is going to happen. They are going to get the coronavirus, and they need to take all the precautions that they possibly can to keep as few people as they can from getting it.
And they need to have full roster flexibility. If in 1987, when the players went on strike, they were able to quickly fill out, at the time, 28 rosters with enough players to play games and not miss a beat, they need to be ready to do that as well. They need to have some sort of a device, some sort of a mechanism. And, you know, we've had this conversation before, Shireen, about how the XFL had a 9th team of players that were kept in shape, ready to go, so you could sign players as needed off of that 9th roster if you were an XFL team. The NFL may need, for every 8 teams, they may need a roster, a separate roster that is maintained for that purpose, so guys come in ready to go. You're not trying to get a guy up to speed who's been sitting on his couch for the last 3 weeks when the phone call came on Friday that they need him on the field on Sunday.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.